it's Lisa Scott with Fresh Life Connection, your wellness advisor. I'm known as Mama Lisa here on Instagram, and today I wanted to take you along with me on making homemade French fries because we all love French fries, but I wanted to healthy them up a little bit. And because I always encourage everybody to eat whole foods, we want to have something that's really tasty and really easy, but yet get things that we enjoy eating too. So what I've got is some red skin potatoes, and I've got some parsnips. So if you've never tried some of the root vegetables, you want to try some parsnips to go along with this because they bake up really easily along with the potatoes. And I've already got them started in using the French fries, or slicing them up for the French fries. But first, if you've been following me, you know that I really love to eat delicious foods, and I don't mind cooking, and I especially like cooking with whole foods, but one of the things that I really don't care about is the cleanup. So what I do is I utilize tin foil a lot, or I use parchment paper when I'm baking. But one of the questions that I've had a lot of is, do you use the dull side or do you use the shiny side? And what I found out is it really doesn't matter which side you use unless you're using one that's imprinted and marked with non-stick. And then you want to use the dull side of it. But I'm not using that. Also, what I want to do is to show you how to make a pan out of using the foil. So I've measured, which I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of a crease that's along through here. So I've measured the size of the grate that I'm going to be putting this on, and I use my toaster oven to do these French fries. So I've already creased 3 of the sides, and then I'll show you how I do this. The last side, you just fold it over, and I usually fold it over twice. Fold it right over to where I have that crease at, and then I flip it over and lift up the edges. Lift up the edges on all 4 sides. Now if you're going to use this with something that gets a lot of moisture in it, like if it's going to release some of the moisture, then you want to make sure that you have these edges good and crimped so that it doesn't leak. But you'd be amazed at how really sturdy making this little pan is. And so there you go. Now what my cleanup is going to be is just crumpling up this piece of tin foil and putting it in my recycle bin, and then it's all going to be done. But anyhow, I will set this aside for now, and I want to show you that I'm using one of these mandolins, but I've got it with the julienne serrated edge on it. If you don't have one of these, you don't have to. You can just put the potatoes or whatever it is that you're cooking down on a cutting board and cut it, but try to get it uniform. That way you know that everything is baking okay. So just put the vegetable down here, make sure that you're holding on to it good, and then you just start slicing it. And it's just that easy. And then you can see that I've got a little bit left over here. Don't want to touch those blades because they are really sharp. Well, that one's caught on there. So you know I've done about 4 potatoes already, and all of them turned out perfectly, but the one that I'm showing isn't. But anyhow, there's little ridges in here, and you can just pull those apart and put those in the bowl. And then of course all of the ones that are already julienned are all sliced up and underneath. You just pick those up and put them in the bowl and put this down. And then you can season these up with anything that you would like to season with. But what I'm going to do mine is I'm going to put some pepper, and we've just got a good amount of black pepper because I've got about 4 of these size red skin potatoes and 2 decent sized parsnips. And then I'm going to add some salt. And see how easy it is to make your own rubs. If you have a good seasoning cabinet, which I've got that one cabinet that's beside the stove that, you know, it's like a half-size cabinet, that thing's chocked full of all kinds of seasonings that I have, because I love adding flavor without adding all of the calories. So this is onion powder that I'm putting in. Typically I buy my seasonings, I try to get them in little amounts because I want to use them as fresh as I can. And onion powder gets moisture in it, so sometimes I have to open it up to be able to get it out. And then this is garlic powder. And then again, we're going to be using just about equal amounts. You can see that I don't measure much. If you want to use a measuring spoon, that's awesome. If you would like to just use your hand as a measuring, you can put everything in there like that. Anyhow, I've got everything in the dish, and I'm just going to mix it up really well. And then that will be ready to put on. Now, I like using lemon, and with the salmon that I'm going to be sauteing, we'll probably be doing some zucchini, and I've got some shiitake mushrooms over here, and I may slice up an onion and saute that with it, and I'll use half of the lemon on that. But I thought that half of the lemon with these french fries would be delicious, like lemon pepper as a seasoning. But I added, of course, all of the other seasonings to it. Now, one of the things that you want to do when you are using a lemon and squeezing that is you don't want to get the seeds in there. So just put it in your hand, and then that way, when you squeeze it, it just filters it out. Now, one of the best tips that I have on getting all of the juice out of a lemon is before you slice it up, you roll it around on the counter really well. And it just softens the outside of it up really good, and then you roll it around on the counter, and it's amazing how much more juice you get out of that. Okay, so we've got the lemon in there. I'm going to add some olive oil. And again, I'm not measuring, but I'm guessing that there's probably about 2 tablespoons that I've added in here. I may want to put a little bit more, but I think that's going to be enough. And then I'm just going to put all of that seasoning down in there and mix it up. Continue to add the rest of the seasoning. Now I've got my toaster oven on 375, and depending on how crunchy you want them, you'll probably leave these in for at least a half of an hour, something like that. Just keep an eye on it. Take one out, sample it, see if it's as done as you want it to be. And you guys can follow me also on my Facebook page. It's also at Fresh Life Connection. And I have a website. My website has a blog on there, and it also has a store. And that has a lot of self-help techniques, a lot of videos, downloads, and things that you can do. Because I am all about trying to help people to know that you can be an older person, like I'm in my late 50s, and you can live a really happy, good, healthy life. And it doesn't take much effort at all. So you can see that's all it took for me to get these french fries and stuff set up together. Now all I'm going to do is put them out in this pan, and then I'll pop them into the toaster oven. I'm going to have to probably take some out of this because I made way too many. You want this in about, I don't know, it doesn't have to be a single layer, obviously, but I probably could have gotten away with just making a couple potatoes, especially since there's only 2 of us that are eating this evening. But anyhow, that's what's going to be for dinner. So if you like what you see, please share this with other people. And otherwise, I will see you again on my next video. And please let me know how this one turned out, because it's my very first live Instagram video. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.